A very warm welcome back. This is Morning Live. Now, the Water Research Commission has found that almost 40% of total municipal water supply in the country is lost before it even reaches consumers. Now, this is largely due to undetected leaks, and many of these leaks are underground, making it very difficult to find the source. Now, to speak to us about how technology can actually be used to detect these leaks is Pete Da Silva, CEO of the Jasco Group. A very good morning to you, sir. Thank you so much for joining us. Now, we're having one of the worst drought in here, as we've seen so many water restrictions, and you're saying that a significant amount of water is just leaking away. How can technology counter that?
Just to put the 40% in perspective, it's around 7 billion rand worth of value that we destroy every year. Now, the 40%, if you equate it to some of the other countries that utilize technologies, is somewhere between 6 and 8% loss. So there's at least a 30% saving that South Africa can get back. Now, we're in the information age. Your previous speaker was talking about internet and Internet of Things. We talk about the cloud. We talk about big data. So if you put all that information together, and we have the software, we put it in the cloud, we have the Internet of Things that can manage networks. We come from the premise, if you don't measure, you can't manage. So we put sensors in the networks. You know, if you have a look at the water network like Johannesburg City, it's got thousands and thousands of kilometers of piping underground. And they've got meters. We make those meters communicate. They communicate into the cloud. And then we can do predictive analysis. So we do analytical research, and we can predict where the leaks are going to happen before they happen. Right. And that helps a lot in terms of reducing what we call non-revenue water, in other words, water loss.
Is this service fully operational in South Africa already?
Not yet, no. We've got it in a few countries around the world, but in South Africa we're still in discussions around that.
Right. Can you take us through just how old do you think South Africa's water infrastructure is?
Oh, yeah, depending. You know, we've got quite a few new suburbs, which means you've got state-of-the-art. Then we've got very old cities and towns, which could be as old as 70 years.
Now, industries like mining, manufacturing, farming, and even the retail industry need water. So can these perhaps companies recycle water like you've seen in other countries?
Yes, look, recycling and usage of grey water is one issue, but the management of the networks, you got to save what you have and make sure you get enough revenue out of that. And if you do that through proper maintenance of the network, detecting the leaks before they happen, making sure that the meters are functional, making sure that people are not tapping in and using water without paying for it, all of that we can predict with the software analytics.
Surely it doesn't come cheap. What costs are we looking at?
No, it's not cheap, but again, is 40% and 7 billion rand cheap? Absolutely not. So the repayment period around this is a very short term if you manage it properly.
Have you perhaps engaged the government to come on board on this?
Absolutely. We're talking to some of the regions to see, but you need an intelligent network, so you need the sensors in place. So what we do, we normally audit the whole network to ensure that it's ready for our solution before we go there.
You're saying that all in all, water restrictions will not solve the problem of wasted water in the future, especially seeing that South Africa is a dry country.
Yeah, look, naturally, we live in the region that we're always going to have a water resource problem. So if we can just reduce the loss of water, to say world-class 6 to 8% and have that 30%. It doesn't mean you don't have to recycle and use grey water. It doesn't mean you don't have to have restrictions. Absolutely. But you've got to do all of the things, and you've got to do them all very, very well.
Right. Pete, great chatting to you. Thank you so much for your time.
You're welcome.
That was Pete from the Jasco Group speaking to us live in our Johannesburg studios. We really thank him for his input.